Welcome to the planet Chemora, a world where life exists through the extraordinary process of chemosynthesis. Unlike Earth, where sunlight fuels most life, Chemora's biosphere thrives deep within a toxic atmosphere, under volcanic oceans, and in places where chemical energy, not light, is the primary driver of all biological processes. Let's take a closer look at the atmosphere of Chemora, which plays a pivotal role in sustaining life. Chemora's atmosphere is thick and suffused with gases that would be deadly to Earth-based organisms, but essential for its native life. Dominated by carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, and methane, this toxic mix provides the raw materials for chemosynthesis. Oxygen, so essential on Earth, is almost non-existent here, as life on Chemora doesn't rely on it. Instead, organisms use chemical reactions between gases like hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide to generate energy. The air is acidic, with clouds of sulfuric acid often filling the sky, creating a constant, hazy environment. This thick atmosphere acts like an insulating blanket, trapping heat from volcanic activity rather than sunlight, which is weak due to the planet's distance from its star. Now that we understand the atmosphere, let's move down to the geography of Chemora, which provides the stage for life to flourish. Chemora is a world shaped by extreme volcanic and geothermal activity. Its surface is jagged and rugged, dominated by volcanic plains, deep, acidic oceans, and massive cracks in the crust, known as rift valleys, where tectonic plates slowly drift apart. Hydrothermal vents dot the ocean floor, releasing hot gases and minerals into the water, forming towering chimney-like structures. These vents are critical to life on Chemora, providing the chemical compounds necessary for chemosynthesis. The landscape above water is equally harsh, with bubbling sulfur lakes and volcanic ranges constantly reshaped by eruptions. This geothermal energy, seeping from the planet's core, forms the foundation of Chemora's ecosystem, making it a vibrant world of fire and chemistry. With this fiery geography in mind, we now turn to the life forms that inhabit this extreme world and how they have evolved to survive. Life on Chemora is alien and resilient. The simplest organisms are chemosynthesizing bacteria, which use the chemical energy released from the hydrothermal vents to build organic compounds. These microbes form the base of Chemora's food chain, similar to how plants do on Earth. Larger, more complex organisms feed on these bacteria or form symbiotic relationships with them. In the ocean, towering sponge-like creatures with tough exteriors host colonies of chemosynthesizing bacteria inside their tissues. On land, mollusk-like creatures with hard shells scuttle across the sulfuric landscape, filtering chemicals from acidic lakes for sustenance. Predators, such as giant segmented worms, stalk the ocean floor, feeding on smaller creatures that cluster near the vents. Each life form has evolved unique adaptations to survive in the highly acidic, chemically rich environments of Chemora. Speaking of adaptations, let's dive deeper into the evolutionary adaptations that allow these life forms to not only survive, but thrive on this harsh planet. Chemora's organisms have evolved to be true extremophiles, able to live in conditions that would destroy Earth-based life. Many creatures have developed specialized enzymes that allow them to harness the energy from chemical reactions, efficiently converting hydrogen sulfide and methane into nutrients. Creatures living near hydrothermal vents have developed heat-resistant exoskeletons or shells, protecting them from both the extreme temperatures and the corrosive sulfuric acid present in the water and air. Their metabolisms are slow, allowing them to survive on minimal energy, which is vital in an environment where energy sources can be sporadic or difficult to access. Symbiosis plays a huge role in the survival of life on Chemora. Many larger animals host chemosynthetic bacteria within their bodies, ensuring a constant source of food, while providing the bacteria with a safe environment to live in. Some organisms have also evolved filtering mechanisms to extract chemosynthetic microbes from the water, while others have developed chemosensory abilities, allowing them to detect the presence of chemicals that signal the availability of food or other resources. This brings us to the ecosystem of Chemora, a finely balanced system sustained entirely by chemical energy. The ecosystem of Chemora revolves around hydrothermal vents and other chemical-rich environments. At the base of the food chain are the chemosynthetic microbes, which convert the energy from chemical reactions into organic matter. These microbes feed a variety of filter-feeding organisms, such as the sponges and mollusks found near the vents. In turn, predators like segmented worms or large crustacean-like creatures prey on these herbivores. The ecosystem is tightly knit, with symbiotic relationships between species being essential for survival. Larger creatures depend on the smaller chemosynthetic organisms for food, and the smaller organisms rely on the waste products of the larger ones to recycle nutrients back into the ecosystem. There is little waste in this system. Everything is reused and recycled, forming a closed loop that is highly efficient in conserving energy. Finally, let's explore the energy cycles that fuel Chemora's unique biosphere. On Chemora, chemical energy replaces sunlight as the primary driver of the ecosystem. The planet's geothermal energy powers the hydrothermal vents, releasing chemicals like hydrogen sulfide and methane into the environment. Chemosynthetic microbes use these chemicals in a process similar to photosynthesis, converting them into organic compounds that other organisms can consume. This forms the base of the planet's energy cycle. Energy flows from the hydrothermal vents outward, with creatures clustered in areas where the concentration of chemicals is highest. As organisms die, their bodies break down and release additional chemicals back into the environment, continuing the cycle. The carbon-sulfur cycle on Chemora is particularly important, with sulfur playing a role. Similar to oxygen on Earth, being cycled between organisms and the atmosphere. In this closed system, energy is precious, and organisms have evolved to make the most of every available resource. Efficient recycling of waste and nutrients ensures that the ecosystem can sustain itself over long periods, even in Chemora's challenging conditions. In conclusion, Chemora is a planet where life has found a way to thrive through chemosynthesis. From its toxic atmosphere to its volcanic geography, and from its extremophilic life forms to its complex energy cycles, Chemora demonstrates how life can adapt and flourish in the most extreme environments.